Hello 10th class. Today we are going to start with the chapter A Trump of Surgery. Here, whatever language I have used, the words I have used, you can directly use it in your answers and make your answers vocabulary rich so as to get as much marks as possible. Obviously, we are trying to get 3 on 3 or 6 on 6. Let's start. So we know the Trump of Surgery. It's about three characters, Mrs. Pumphrey, a dog, and a vet doctor. So here to start with, first we are having Mrs. Pumphrey, the overindulgent owner. Why we are saying that she was overindulgent owner? Because she actually treated Tricky with so much love that it risked his life. But in what sense? Let's read. First, we are using the word affluence. Affluence means being rich. So here we are being shown that Mrs. Pumphrey already she was a rich lady, but not only she was rich, her dog was also rich. In what sense? That she was being an extremely rich lady, evident by Tricky's extensive wardrobe. So first word is extensive wardrobe that she used for tweed coats. Just use the word tweed coat for cold and rainy weather. So he was having two coats and he was having separate bowls for every meal. The breakfast, one for breakfast, second for lunch, and the third for supper. So just imagine a dog having different kinds of bowls for different meals. Obviously, he'll be considered rich. The second thing that we are going to come up with is blind love. The blind love treated Tricky like a human son. She, Mrs. Pumphrey, considered the dog as not only a dog or a pet, rather, he considered him to be his son. That's why she did not understand what harm she is doing with the dog and failing. That's why we are using the word failing to understand the harmful consequences of overfeeding him. That's why she was not able to understand that what uh, is she doing with the dog. She is not understanding the concept of overfeeding. Even if it's said कि एक बच्चे को भी अगर ओवरफीड कराया जाए तो उसकी सिचुएशन आपको दिखती है that how fat how bulky he becomes. So this is just a dog. अगर उसको एक्सरसाइज नहीं मिलेगी तो automatically it will be harmful for him. Lack of discipline. So there was again the third major. First, he being rich was the first biggest drawback in the case of the dog. The second, the blind love shown by her owner. And the second, the lack of discipline. She found it difficult to be cruel because she uh, herself considered herself to be the mother of the dog. So she never thought of being cruel, thought of being strict by cutting down his food intake. Though she was warned a lot many times by Dr. James Harriet that she should cut down the food intake, but she did not listen, and she found it very difficult to make it possible. Okay, it was even though she knew it was necessary for his health, but she always comes up with so many excuses that she has made in the story. Like if she was asked that is he getting the exercises, so Mrs. Pumphrey said, "Oh, my the responsible person is not well," so that was not possible. She always came up with certain excuses that she can give. Next, Mr. James Harrier, the tactful surgeon. So he was very professional as well as very experienced. His uh, he knew his dogs as well as his patients. Basically, who are the dogs? His patients. So he knew his patients very well, and by just looking at the situation, by just looking at their appearance, he diagnosed them very well. So it is the next point is competence and observation. He was highly skilled vet surgeon who could diagnose Tricky's problem just by observing him. How professional he is. Next, we are going to have the tact and quick wit. What is the tact and quick wit? That is the quick intelligence that is required. So how he deal with it? How did he deal with the situation? Knowing Mrs. Pumphrey would never voluntarily restrict Tricky's diet because voluntarily means with own permission. She knew that she's never going to do that. he uses the emergency of a fake. He uses the emergency of a fake surgery, though it was not a real surgery. That is, there's a twist, the trump of surgery. That's a twist in the story. So he used the concept of fake surgery, hospitalization to remove the dog from her care. So that is, he used the concept of fake surgery. That is the hospitalization. That he actually did not have any surgery. It was just a fake surgery. Next, integrity. So you have to use all these words, okay, just to make sure that you're using. Integrity. Although he enjoyed the lavish eggs and wine Mrs. Pumphrey sent to the clinic. So even after the dog was admitted in the hospital, Mrs. Pumphrey did not stop sending the same lavish meal that she used to give the dog at home. So this shows that how possessed she was in taking good care of her dog. She just doesn't understand that what her dog actually was going through. So here, although he enjoyed the lavish eggs, so again, who is he here? Here is the doctor, Dr. Heriot. He was enjoying what? He was enjoying lavish eggs and wine. Why it was said lavish eggs? Because they were sent in huge quantity and it was sent for the dog, not for Dr. Heriot. So for them, it was a lavish meal. Mrs. Pumphrey sent to the clinic. He did not keep Tricky longer than necessary because he felt concerned for her distress. But this time, he could keep Tricky for a long period of time just to make sure that he keeps enjoying these meals, but he did not do anything such like that. He just because he felt concerned for her distress because she must be feeling painful like our mothers. If someone takes you from away from your mother, how your mother would feel. The same situation was right now for Mrs. Pumphrey. Next, Tricky's condition and lifestyle. The problem was Tricky's main fault was greed. He never refused food. That was the problem. Okay? Though he couldn't eat anything, still he never said no. Symptoms, what were the symptoms that how even a normal man could recognize? Here, it was recognized by a doctor. Before treatment, he became hugely fat, that is called blotted sausage. So we can use the word blotted sausage, which so shocked Dr. Han. So that was shocked. Next, affluence, because obviously a dog whose physique should be very, very slim, and that looks like a blotted sausage, just like any other child. So what we say, kitna khayega mote? So the same situation comes with the dog also. After eating so much of food, he has turned into a blotted sausage. And here, affluence, he lived a life of luxury with cushions, toys, rubber rings, and a variety of specialized codes. So you have to mark all these in your answers just to make sure that you get exact number of marks. Next, the treatment, the surgery, nature over medicine. Dr. Heriot gave Tricky no medical treatment. That was a reality of the surgery. It did not actually give any medical treatment. What exactly was given? The regimen. What is regimen? For the first 2 days, Tricky was given only water and no food. This is the first thing that you're going to use in your answer. And for the first 2 days, he was given only water and no food. He was encouraged to engage in natural activities and play with other dogs in the clinic. That was the second thing that he was given. So these are the two treatments that he was given. First 2 days, he was not given any food, only water was given. The third day, when he starts struggling for the food given to all in a single bowl. So he was encouraged to get engaged in natural activities. There was natural activities and play with other dogs in the clinic. So he used to play. So that was the only two types of treatment that he was given. That should be given to every child or every dog. What was the result of it? The result was this regime turned Tricky into a flexible and hard muscled dog. So this turned into him a flexible and hard muscled dog that he actually deserved to be. What are the next key themes and interpretations? That is a triumph of surgery. Mrs. Pumphrey called the recovery a triumph of surgery. So this is the main answer that can be asked. Why? It's called a triumph of surgery, though it was not a real surgery because she believed what she believed. Tricky had been cured of a serious ailment. So she believed that it was a serious ailment through medical intervention. So although she didn't know the reality behind it, she considered it to be a medical intervention, unaware that the cure was simply unaware. She was not aware. Throughout the chapter, she was not told that the cure was simply diet and the exercise. But she was never told. Throughout the chapter, she was not told the reality. And that's why she called it a triumph of surgery. Privilege versus need. Now, what is that? So, Mrs. Pumphrey failed to distinguish between what Tricky wanted, that is, the want, and what he needed. So the difference between the want and the need. We should always should know our wants and the needs. That what we want, that is the wants, creeds, different bowls, different type of coats, that was a wants. And what he needed, the discipline and the health, which landed him in trouble. So we should always be able to. You can use it as a theme also. Excess is bad. So the story serves as a commentary on how excess of everything is bad, showing that over pampering can be as harmful as neglect. So you can use this theme even in the case of kids also, that over pampering is not only bad for the dogs but for the humans too. This was the whole chapter, and if in case you need a detailed answers, handwritten notes for these same chapters, do let me know. Ping me on 8383924576. This is my number. I'm Neha Mittalved, an English and French coach, and I teach from classes 4th to 10th, online, offline. So you can just contact me if you need the handwritten notes for the same. Thank you.